Hello. How are you doing? I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a room tour. I haven't done one of those, and I know they're quite popular. Probably some people are kind of interested in what my setup is. Now, I warn you, it isn't the greatest setup in the world, but I'd like to say it's probably not the worst. I mean, it could be worse. It could be a cross. No, I'm not going to say it. Actually, I think they're quite good. My mum's got one. I plugged it into a proper amp. Sounded quite good. Anyway, let's get to it, and I will show you what we've got. Okay, so as you can see, this is my living room, and that corner over there is where I've taken over. And originally, when we moved in, it was just that one wood-coloured shelving unit, and I've kind of expanded in the 7 or 8 years we've been here. Anyway, I mean, this is probably a lot of UK collectors, sort of a similar kind of thing for them. In America, you seem to have a lot more space. In fact, I've done some research, and what you have is you have an average house size with floor space of 2,164 square foot. Now, you are second only to Australia, you lucky devils. Yeah, Trigger, I'm looking at you. And you, Dean. And they have 2,303 square feet as an average, whereas us, poor little Brits over here in the UK, we only have 818 square foot. So anyway, let's have a look at. First of all, I'll have a look at, just show you the records. So what have we got? So over here in the corner, we've got at the top here. We've got, those are classical, some box sets in the middle. Then we've got world music over there. Now moving down, and we have rows of what I call rock and pop, A to Z. Everything's A to Z, naturally. Anyone who does it any differently is just weird. So yeah, so we've got 1, 2, 3 rows of that. And then at the bottom, it goes into soul and funk, R&B, and then down into jazz. So about half of that's probably jazz and half is that's soul and funk. Now, then if I step back this way, you can see the Kallax shelving. Now, this is completely new since we moved in, which shows how much how much I've been buying. So basically, this is all country music. The horror. Yeah, so the top row is a sort of a country rock chronology that I will get around to at some point. Then going down, it's A to Z. Oh, I've actually got, it starts with sort of bluegrass. I think the first two are bluegrass and sort of old-timey music. And then going down, it's it's country all the way down, right to the bottom. And these little cases are full of country rock. So, including things like Little Feat and the band, well, I suppose they're kind of country rock, and yeah, Allman Brothers, that sort of thing that I kind of, and some country funk as well. So I've sort of put that all together. Okay, and so looking over here is where all the action happens. So this is my setup. So let's go and have a closer look at what we've got. Okay, well, first of all, let's have a look. Open up the door, and this is where we've got my separates. So on the top there, that is the radio. Oh, it's come on. Excellent. That's a Toshiba ST230. Of course, I had to check that up. I don't know that. Is that a bit blurry? Oh well. So I'll turn that off. Going down, we've got a Technics amp. It's a Technics SJ VX500. I bought this from my mate's brother about, I don't know, 15, 16, 17, 20 years ago maybe. And I never turn it off. I got told that at some point, that one of the things that does amps in is the constant turning on and turning off. So that stays on. So that has literally been on, well, since we moved in about 8 years ago. It's barely been turned off. And then at the bottom, there is a Pioneer CD player, Pioneer PDR W839. And now that is a CD recorder. Let's do a... There you go. So, so you've got over here. There you go there, and then you record to that side. I love the way that does that. It's a bit like the till in Open All Hours for Brits. It's got like that. Okay, so I hope that's not too blurry and you can actually see something. So that's what I'm going. It all sounds good enough to me. That's probably going to turn on now. So yeah, the amp is really pretty good. And so therefore I've had no reason to think about changing it. And then also moving up here. And what we have here is the turntable is, it's a NAD, what is it? A NAD 533, which is basically a Riga 2, I think, sort of rebadged, maybe a couple of bits of difference on it. Now, originally it came with a Goldring Electra needle, and I did replace that for like because I knew it worked and I quite liked it. And then I was going to get another one, and then I thought I can't really afford it, so I was going to try and save up for a better one. And I got this in the interim. Now this is a Riga, what's it called? It's a Riga Carbon, yeah, Riga Carbon. And I was so impressed with it. I've not come round to actually trying to change it. So that's that. That's my record player, okay. And then we've got here, this is the tape deck, and it's a Denon, hang on, Denon DRR M33. It's not the greatest, but I like it because we've got the slidey out drawer, which is pretty good. I think it's only one head, I think, though, or at least two heads, but no, it's not two heads, it's only one head. It's not one of the better ones, so ideally I wouldn't mind, but it's good enough for me. And then this is my new acquisition, and I will tell you a little bit about this now. Okay, so what we have here is the Yamaha WXAD10, which is a wireless streaming adapter. So on the face of it, it works like a DAC, a digital to audio converter. So it accepts digital signals and sends them as an analog source down to my hi-fi. Yeah, so it's got a number of tricks up its sleeve. So before we do that, let's just have a quick look at the back of it. All right, so this is the back. And if we look from left to right, we've got a headphone socket type setup here with, was it a 3.5 millimeter? Then we've got the RCA cables left and right. There is, you can't quite see it, but in there is a optical output. Then you've got a LAN cable, so you can connect it to hardwire it to your router, or router as you say in America. And then we've got a small a mini USB or something that does the power. So that's basically all it is. Now, interestingly, if you plug in through the RCA left and right, you can't adjust the volume on the machine itself. You have to use your hi-fi for that. But if you plug in through the kind of the headphone jack there, actually you are able to adjust it via the app that you download. So let's have a look at the app, and that's where all the magic happens. Okay then, so let's start the Yamaha Musicast app. There we go, it's loading. And as it starts, it is always system powered off. So if you've left the device not working for about 10 minutes, it turns itself off, or at least onto a standby. So first of all, this is of course the Yamaha Musicast network audio. So this is Yamaha's version of Sonos, and it's a multi-room system. So you could have lots of different speakers around the building, one in the kitchen, one in the bedroom, one in the kids' room, things like that. And obviously, what you can do is you can send the source to any of those rooms, to all of them or separate ones. So if I click on the rooms logo, as you see, I've only got one, so I've only got one room set up. I've got the living room set up, and you can't really see, there's a picture there of it allows you to take a photograph. There, I've turned it on now. So there's the living room, which you can see has got my record player, I think you can see. So here it is. So this is the app. So as you can see across the top, the first load of icons, we've got My Music. So this tablet, which if you click on that, it allows you, if you click on that, there you go, it allows you to play any music that you've got on the tablet. I don't have anything on this tablet at the moment. Then you've got Favourites, which for me is just a net radio station. Recents, you've got various things you've listened to, you can go back and look at. And playlists, it allows you to do 5 playlists. I've got one of country rock, which I haven't put anything into yet. Okay, so then further down we've got sources. So this is the main reason why I bought this device, is I've got here the link to the server. So this links to my NAS that's set up in the kitchen, which has got all my digital music on it. It's been a bit of a nightmare trying to put it all on there. And it's still haven't finished. I've still got so many CDs I want to try and digitize and put on there. I should point out that of course this does do high bitrate lossless formats, so like FLAC and other ones. I don't really use that. I find that 320 is big enough for me. It sounds well enough, and so if I click on music, we then go down. So you can see the different ways in which you can sort of access stuff. So you've got the top album, all tracks, artist index, by folder, composer, anything you've got, personal rating, playlist. Okay, so I am going to do it by folder, because what I've done is I've actually put my music onto my server. Every single album is in a folder with the name of the band and then the title of the album. So I also then put them into alphabetical order in folders. So that's what I've got going on there. So if I say, for example, if I go down to, let's go to R. Okay, so these are, I mean, I wish it would be a bit bigger. I mean, there's no reason why it couldn't take up the whole of the screen, which is unfortunate. You can toggle it to being just a list view, but that's even smaller. So let's go back to the grid. Okay, so we've got Robert Crumb stuff, we've got loads of REM, big fan of REM, sort of C stuff, we've got some Radiohead, Ramblin' Jack Elliott, Randy Newman, lots of Randy Newman. Now you might notice that some of these have got cover photos, cover artwork, some of them haven't. Some of it is because I haven't tried to put it there yet, otherwise sometimes it's quite tricky to get it there and I don't quite know. That's a bit of a bug in the system. It certainly doesn't, like, it hasn't got the Grace Note thing where it goes and finds it for you. It doesn't do that, which is unfortunate. So let's go through. I'll find something that I know that doesn't have a problem for YouTube. So Red Eye, the Red Eye album. So if I just play, and if you look at the top, the first track on there called Games, it doesn't have the artwork, and it's the same strange little quirk that it doesn't have that. Okay, so let's play a. There we go. and I can adjust the volume. Okay, let's stop that and let's go back. Okay, so close that. So the next one along is the net radio, and we have a collection of radio stations and then also podcasts that it will do. So if you click on that, you've got favourites, history, recommendations, local stations, popular stations, trend, all that kind of stuff. So I've put a number in as my favourites, so Radio 3, Radio 4, Radio 6, Classic FM. FIP is a great station. FIP is a French station from Paris, which does sort of jazz, dance, reggae. Don't know what's playing. Doesn't tell you what's playing. That's the only problem. That is an issue. Okay, let's turn that off in case I get it. So let's go back. Okay, close the thing. Then we've got Bluetooth. Now, Bluetooth works in two ways. It works as a transmitter and it works as a receiver. So, first of all, I can transmit any of the sources playing to, for example, my Bluetooth headphones. So I can sit in my sitting room and I can listen to whatever I've got on and not disturb the neighbours or Louise or and you know, it's nice to hear things through your headphones. Then also it works as an input, so it receives as well. So for example, my television has Bluetooth capability. So if I'm watching something like I don't know, highlights from Glastonbury or something like that, a gig, music, something like that, I can connect that up to my system and have it playing through my speakers. Which I remember, just think, I didn't actually say what they are. I've got KEF speakers. I don't know what right model they are, but they're KEF, and they're all right. They sound okay to me. Okay, not audiophile or anything like that. So that's the Bluetooth. Also, you've got AirPlay, which works in a similar way. Of course, AirPlay is Apple's kind of streaming app or protocol, or whatever you want to call it, and that links up with things like iTunes and things. So, or any iTunes, any Apple product that has AirPlay, or anything that has AirPlay. A lot of things have AirPlay these days. Then you've got, if you look further down, you've got the various streaming services: Spotify, Tidal, Napster, Qobuz, and Deezer. Anyway, I've got Spotify, so if I start up Spotify, now unfortunately you've got to do some kind of connecting, which is a bit of a shame. You would have thought it could have done it as it went. So it says at the bottom there what I was listening to, and devices are available. Here we go. There we go. So if you look down the kind of the bottom left, there's a little button, and there at the top left I can click on living room. So that's now connected. So there we go. We've got okay. Right, so there we go. So and that works the same with any of the other streaming services. So that's basically it. Yeah, yes, it has taken me away from records for a bit, I have to admit. But yeah, I will be back with. Let's turn this off. Hang on, how do I do that? There we go. So yeah, not bad. Okay, so that was my setup and a bit of a look at my various bits of kit that I use. So I'll be back with some proper record stuff soon. So until I see you again, bye-bye for now.